Wait, why is Aeland rolling stealth?
See your chat.
Oh, okay.
It is Friday after all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, Del, Kalani, and Pakaz all roll perception again to see if you find anything underneath that rubble.
At least one of
Oh
us
my
got
goodness.
something.
Okay, Kalani. Hold on a second.
Dice are hot garbage tonight.
Can't I what's it called? Take 20. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were doing.
Yeah, that perception was functioning more like a luck roll. Yeah, so Kalani, roll 1d25.
We find 25 holocrons.
Yes!
Yes, you found a Solari lightsaber crystal underneath some collapsed piles of rubble.
And I have to look up which one that is.
Pretty.
And aside from that, all the rest of you find with your searching is there's a couple of like beat up and tattered books that you find in and amongst the piles of rock. But glancing through them, they don't seem to be anything that interesting.
Force powers for kids. Lightsaber techniques for the young.
An introduction to basic lightsaber use techniques.
Your lightsaber and you, how not to cut your limbs off.
Force for dummies.
Okay, there's not that many instructive books. There's like maybe one is like that. There's also just like a book that's like a collection of like poetry, and there's one just like a generic like history thing. It's just like sort of describing like the history of Dantooine and Dantooine culture.
Yeah, the stuff you guys are describing sounds relatively interesting. I was thinking something more mundane, like how to control the growth rate of your fingernails with the Force. Something really ridiculous.
Kaz takes the history book.
Well, now that we know what we're looking for, we might be able to find information in the current Jedi archives. Which are a lot easier to search.
By the end of this, Kalani's gonna have a Solari lightsaber crystal and that special lightsaber crystal.
Lightsaber crystals are always worth having.
Yes.
Well, should we head back so we can start looking at that right away?
But what about the research tower?
The research tower will still be here after we go to Ventuine. We can always come back.
But we're here now. It's only just a little bit of a diversion.
We have no idea how much is in there. It could take us hours to search it all.
Maybe we should. at
What
least
time of
poke our
day
head in?
do we think it is?
Yeah,
Based on our compads. Which I assume have a clock function.
Mm-hmm. Like 8:30
In the evening or morning?
in the evening.
we can at least poke our heads in and see what state it's in.
Okay, fine. Let's do it quick though.
Good plan. Because he's already heading that way.
And I am following.
Del follows.
Okay, everyone make a survival check with +5.
Oh.
What? 12 plus 5 plus 3. Wait, minus 5? What is going on? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because if you put +5 instead of just 5, it breaks the formula.
Also, my condition track was down.
Oh, that too. Okay.
So, yeah.
Del's roll is so low, it looks like his condition track is down, but it's not.
Yeah.
25 would be mine without the negative
guys,
5
just
and
don't
without
do
the
survival.
weird plus.
Just don't know. Don't know anything.
Actually,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think you'll find that I got higher than Kalani this time, so.
I just meant with how it looked.
I know.
Actually,
I know what
Del,
you
cha-
meant.
Del changes his mind and he starts leaving. Like, you know what? You guys check it out. Find anything, let me know. I'm gonna go start getting a head start on the.
He tries
actual
to start
Jedi
leaving,
archives.
but he ends up at the same place as us.
No, but I was recording the whole thing, so I know how to find my way back.
Okay, you can watch the hours of footage to retrace your steps exactly.
And there's also we also have a map.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's the plus
So-
5.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't add that. I
Oh,
had
you didn't
16.
add that. Okay.
No.
Okay. So yeah, you can make your way back. Kalani and Pakaz, you have to take several detours because of some cave-ins. And there's also one point where there's a pretty big chasm that you have to jump across. So why not just for fun, you guys can roll acrobatics or dexterity to see how well you jump across that.
Dex has a different skill difficulty check, then I'm going with that.
I'm wondering if I should re-roll that.
I mean, you have an
Not bad.
80% chance of getting better.
But considering how the dice have been,
It's up to you. Do you want to take the chance and throw out another die or not? It's better.
Okay, yeah, so Pakaz, you make it across. And Kalani, you like almost make it to the end and then edge, and then you like start slipping. So yeah, then you start falling back into the chasm.
Move object. Let's see if it's good enough.
Yeah. So as you start falling back, you suddenly feel yourself being embraced by the force and lifted back up onto the edge.
On this side.
thanks.
Because nods. And
A
then
bit
just
shaky.
keep going forward.
Yeah, so on this tower, according to the map, the like the bottom floors were used as like a prison, and then the upper floors were used as the research area.
Search it all.
Okay, do you guys want to take 20 on perception? Also, you guys should use the force checks.
That's with my use the force rolls ever since halfway through that fight.
Yeah, so you guys notice that sort of like that bright feeling that you felt when entering before is like greatly diminished. You basically can't sense that at all, hardly.
But yeah, I'll take 20.
Okay.
How did you
Yeah.
describe it again?
The bright feeling we had is
The
almost non-existent
place.
here.
Yeah, so it's another tower where like all the bottom ground floors were used as, according to the map, as prison holding areas. And then the upper floors were used for just, it says research.
So heading to the upper floors, what does it look like?
Yeah, so the rooms in some of the rooms in the upper floors, and this is divided. There's not any like giant vault-like rooms. These are all just like tiny or small rooms. And a couple of the ones you pass by and look inside, and they just seem pretty empty. It doesn't, like, there may be some tables, and then along the back wall in one of the rooms you see just what looks to be super archaic computer, like a rusted out hull of an old computer system. And that is like that in several of the rooms. In other rooms you find barren, and you can't really discern what the purpose of it was. In particular, you find one room where there's a lot of like grooves in the floor, like circular indentations, like a globe or like a sphere was like pressed into the floor and left a hollow depression. And there's a bunch of just like depressions in the floor, but you aren't really sure what the purpose that would have served or why those are there.
Okay.
And then you also come in upon some other rooms that have a little bit more scrap on the ground. Like there's just like a bunch of old like metal parts, and some of them seem like they might have been like droid parts. They're sort of all scattered on the floor. And as you look around in that room, you can actually find some like tattered up pieces of like metal that have like scratchings on them that sort of look like rough diagrams of different droid parts. But there's also just like a lot of dust, so anything that was written down on like paper or something is obviously like decayed. So you just have mostly metal. It's everything that's remaining. So you guys can both roll perception again.
Nat 20.
Okay.
Of course.
Give me a holocron.
So you couldn't sense it with the force, but as you're exploring one of the rooms near the middle of the tower, you actually come across this like a mosaic on the wall that at first you don't really pay attention to it, but then you sort of notice something weird about it, and it actually opens up into a secret passageway that slides open.
Yay, secret explorer.
Yeah, so as you walk down, you don't have to duck, but if Kalani is following you, she definitely has to like duck or almost crawl. Like it's like the ceiling is barely clearing, allowing for you to walk in there. It's like a very small tunnel, and it just opens up into like a very small room. And in that room, there's a stone pedestal, and on top of that pedestal, there's a yellowish orange cube, and it's covered in dust.
Might as well pick it up.
Yeah, you pick it up, and it seems to like glow very faintly, but it immediately fades, and you aren't really sure whether it was glowing or there was a trick of the light.
Because blows the dust off it and examines it, and then shows it in his pack.
Am I aware of what that is? Can I tell this a holocron?
Did you crawl down the tunnel with Pakaz?
If I was aware of him finding it.
Yeah, well, since you were following him, you probably saw him go in this small tunnel, so if you wanted to crawl after him. The only downside is you have to crawl out backwards because there's not enough space in that little room for you to actually get out of the tunnel and turn around, so you just have to crawl backwards out of the tunnel.
Oh, fun.
But yeah, you see it and you recognize it as a holocron.
A Jedi holocron? Can I
Say
look at that?
what?
Can
Is what
I take a
Podcast
look
would
at
say if he would talk like that.
that? What?
Because it's just like, what? As he pushes it into one of his little satchels or something. Like he didn't fully hear and understand what you said.
I'm not quite sure how Kalani should deal with this.
No, Barry, I don't have those anymore. Yeah, all my satchels are probably like the TARDIS. But anyways, so I assume. I mean, do you do anything other than mumble something that Pakaz didn't hear?
Didn't think I mumbled. Did I mumble?
A little bit, enough that I wasn't expecting you to say holocron, I might not have heard it or understood it.
That looks like a Jedi holocron. Can I take a look at that?
Later, after we finish here.
Yeah, this is a bit tight and uncomfortable.
Do you need any help?
I think I can crawl back.
Yeah, you can crawl back out. Unless you really want to
Yeah,
roll. And then if you get a nat 1, then you're stuck.
I
Alternatively, you could just walk
role
up.
playing her awkwardness there.
Well,
Yeah.
how slow is this?
I mean, most people can shuffle backwards on their hands and knees pretty quickly. Kalani's acrobatic and cat-like, so probably not very slow.
Okay, then it would, if it's not much below walking speed, then it wouldn't make sense for Pakaz to just push her backwards slowly.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, so that's pretty much the most notable thing that you find, other than those other rooms full of weird stuff that I described earlier.
Nothing in the prisons?
Yeah, the prison cells are all just barren, and some of them are collapsed. There's also some rooms up there where parts of the ceiling looked cracked or like they were going to collapse, and sometimes there was like some piles of rubble laying around. Overall, the impression is definitely that it's very, very old and worn down.
Well, we should probably leave. probably like 11 p.m. by this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's late. We need to recover from that. Ouch.
Sadly, Annalise is asleep when you get back to the ship.
Aww.
Yeah, if they come in, they don't talk to us. They just, because I'm on the bridge. Everyone else is asleep, so yeah. Kalani would just go to her room and see 3 people there.
Just kind of blinking in confusion.
And that's a good question. How are our rooms arranged? Because there's just one bunking room on the ship.
I thought there were 2. One on either side.
No, the thing on the other side is the, you might call it a bunking room, but it's the engine room.
Yeah, there's just one sleeping quarters.
So, yeah, tired Kalani is just kind of staring, blinking blearily at the strange people and the bunks. What?
Kaz just walks through his bunk. That's a good question. There's 3 of them. I assume they went to the empty ones, how many bunks does this entire room have?
That's a good point. We never really discussed that. Technically, they probably only had 2, but just pretend it had more.
I'm fine with Baka sleeping on the floor. He don't care too much.
That's a pretty big room after all.
Yeah.
True, but it's probably just split in half. One person lives on one side and the other person on the other.
Yeah.
How about it just has enough beds?
Yeah. We found
this-
some spare stuff and constructed some beds. So there's like 2 proper beds that actually have like frames and stuff. They're like set into the wall on the very far end. But then the other beds that you guys constructed.
Then I guess after staring in confusion for a while, Kalani's just gonna say, "Nope, I'm too tired for this," and go find her own bed.
There are a lot of nice comfortable chairs in the main room where Dirk is.
Has he been on this ship this whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But we didn't even talk to him. We just brought those 3 people on board. I forgot about him.
Yeah, well, he wasn't actually on board at that point. He was doing some sightseeing around the Jedi Temple, but he spent most of his time just on board the ship.
I did mention when you guys were picking them up that now Dirk has company. Or NPCs, tag-alongs, who probably everyone disrespects. Poor Dirk.
I completely forgot about Dirk.
Poor Dirk. No one remembers Dirk.
And now Kalani has no idea who these new people are.
Kaz goes in there, sees new people, looks at Alon, goes and jabs Alon in the head with the butt of his staff. Not hard
Wait,
enough
you went-
to bug him and wake him up.
Now, did you use that perception roll to find Elon, or was that for the Force Crystal?
Oh no. Oh yeah, you're not on the ship, are you?
I'm in the ship. Just you don't know where I am.
Well, whoever
Yeah, you have just roll
whoever I can
perception
find who's
again
sleeping
because
in the bunk.
Elon is not there.
I mean, I'm not looking. I don't. If Alon's not in the bunks in the bed sleeping,
oh,
then he
okay.
will do the same to either John or Lexa.
I'm on the bridge.
Kaz hesitates to bump John in the back of the head.
What are you doing to me?
Kaz does not wake John up. Kaz leaves the room and goes and finds someone less of a hassle to deal with. Kaz does not expect to find John friendly if he gets woken up by a bump on the back of the head. Kaz expects a blaster to the face.
Which you would then most likely just catch and eat.
Probably. Kaz gives up and goes to sleep. No, he force trances because he needs to heal half his hit points back.
Yeah.
I love how you, I mean, I'm awake on the bridge. And you guys are just like, nah, not worth it.
But to be fair, Pikaz doesn't know you're up there, and Pikaz doesn't feel like going around and looking for people. It's
I'm always up
he's
there.
half dead.
It's my station at night.
Half dead. Long day. Confusion. Nope.
And besides, when Pikaz wakes up, he has a new toy to mess around with.
I'm debating on whether Kalani will remember that she should go into first trance instead of just flopping down and falling asleep.
Good question. Wisdom roll?
That's a bit iffy.
It's up to you.
That would be considered a wise roll, but just barely. But you may not be doing it the same way I am.
If it was for me, I'd be on the fence because, well, I mean, the question is how often do you use force trance, and how, do you think that would be a go-to thing for Kalani to heal up, or do you think that sometimes she would forget about it anyways? And if so, if that's true, then I wouldn't go through with it on that
so
one.
So far, she's tended more towards regular sleep.
Then how I would do it is probably I'd forget on that one.
Yeah.
But that's just the way I like to do it.
Yeah, she's a cat. She wants to sleep. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, really, for a Jedi space cat person. But...
And you're not a super forcey sort of Jedi, anyways. Plus, even Pikaz goes and sleeps sometimes, so rather than force trances, so. If only I could make cricket noises with my mouth. I bet you could do it if you whistled in the right way. I'm just spouting nonsense because no one's talking.
Sorry, I'm distracting Kyrath.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what I'm trying to message you, Zariana, is too big to fit into TeamSpeak.
So break it into
yeah.
smaller pieces.
Or can I just say it all out loud? Do you guys want to hear about some dreams Lexa's having, or does Lexa want to have them to herself?
No, that's fine. Probably gonna have to tell him about it anyway eventually.
Pakaz can pretend Pakaz doesn't know, because Pakaz doesn't actually know.
Yes. None of your in-game characters know this. Anyways. So, yeah, as you sit up there, your photoreceptor is shut off, and the world goes black. Suddenly, light returns in a familiar vision. You see yourself asleep on some kind of bed or chamber, with many wires attached to various places on your body, with most of them on your head. In front of you are many hollow screens, each with different displays, some with vital signs, others with wavelengths, some are streaming numbers too quickly to read, but the one in front of you is the most peculiar. The hollow is of a man who looks human enough and young. The picture is still, and he is not looking directly at you. In the background, there can be seen lush vegetation and the beginnings of a possibly beautiful city. Though you cannot remember who the man is or his significance, when you look at him, there is a feeling of regret, of leaving something behind. Your eyes feel damp, and you close them to blackness. Without opening your eyes, your vision returns, and you see yourself asleep on some kind of bed or chamber with many wires attached to various places on your body, with most of them on your head. In front of you, there are many hollow screens, each with different displays, some with vital signs, others with wavelengths, some are streaming numbers too quickly to read, but the one in front of you is the most peculiar. The hollow is of a man who looks human enough and young. The picture is still, and he's not looking directly at you. In the background, there can be seen lush vegetation and the beginnings of a possibly beautiful city. Though you cannot remember who the man is or his significance, when you look at him, there's a feeling of regret, of leaving something behind. Your eyes feel damp, and you close them to blackness. After a long period of darkness, you open your eyes and see a variety of hollow screens flashing with information in front of you. Out of the corner of your eyes, you can see a variety of wires hooked up to parts of your body. You glance at a hollow of a young man standing before a beautiful city. You feel a sense of deep sorrow and anguish sweep over you, and tears fall onto your cheeks. You look up to one of the hollow displays where a message flashes. Confirm memory wipe. Yes, no. Confirm, you hear yourself say, and your vision goes black. You open your eyes and see a variety of hollow screens flashing with information in front of you. Out of the corner of your eyes, you see a variety of wires hooked up to parts of your body. You glance at a peculiar display. The hollow is of a man who looks human enough and young. The picture is still, and he is not looking directly at you. In the background, there can be seen lush vegetation and the beginnings of a possibly beautiful city. Though you cannot remember who the man is or his significance, when you look at him, there is a feeling of regret, of leaving something behind. Your eyes feel damp, and you close them to blackness.
Is there any way for me to get more out of it, to try and keep myself in the loop? Hunger, maybe get more.
Yeah, you can roll. Go ahead and roll use computer. Yeah. So when you do that, you find a way to like sort of access that third cycle of the dream again, and while you're having that memory, there's like like when you wake up from the dream, you can't remember it, but at the time, like you have a lot more memory of of who that hollow is of, and then there's the part about the confirming the memory wipe, and then but whenever you wake up, you can never remember much about the part before that.
I take out my data pad and I add it to the one page of information I have on the vision that I continuously have. And I write that down at the bottom as that added note.
Okay. So does anyone else want to do anything tonight, or should we call it a session?
There's nothing else I want to do.
Not unless anybody wants to come find me, but that's about it. They might not want to find me.
Okay, then I think we will call it a night and hopefully resume next week.
Sounds good. Thank you for joining us here, guys. Thanks for playing. It's always a blast to have fun with y'all. Thank you for joining in on YouTube. I wish y'all a good night and God bless.